Hello everyone, my name is Lucky Banda, and today I want us to do the fundamentals of Flask web server technology. Right now, Flask is a web server framework that runs on Python code. Now, a framework is a collection of libraries and modules that enable a web developer to write web apps real quick, right? So this is not a theory class, it's a practical class. So I want to teach you how to create a simple hello world app using Flask real quick, right? So the first thing that we need to do is to create a directory for our project, right? So you can just call it anything. In Python, when we're creating a directory, we say, not in Python but in the command prompt, when we want to create a directory, we say mkdir, and then we're going to call that anything we want, right? So I can call it Flask app, Flask underscore app, right? That's a new directory, and we'll move into that directory by saying cd and Flask underscore app. Right now we're into that directory, and the next thing and most important thing that we need to do is to find a text editor. Now, as a web developer, I have seen a lot of text editors, but trust me, nothing pleases me like Visual Studio Code. It's perhaps one of the best text editors out there for any developer that wants an environment that's very fast and it's very flexible for development, right? So to open Visual Studio Code using the command prompt, I'm gonna say code space and then dot. When I press enter, magic happens. Visual Studio opens automatically. Now, if you can see, here we have the directory that we just created. It's Flask app, right? Now in there we can create the main dot app, or the main app that is going to host all the Flask code, right? So I'm gonna call it app.py. You can call it whatever you want. It's just the main file that enable us to run the server, right? So yeah, you can call it whatever you want. Now let me close that, and the next thing that we need to be familiar with is the terminal, right? Now I'm gonna say new terminal. Now what the terminal does is that it enables us to run our server real quick, right? It gives us a reference to the URL of the server when we run it, so we can easily go to it and refresh the page and see the changes that we've made to our website. So in app.py, I'm going to do some stuff. So let me just type real quick, and after the typing, I think I have to explain. So I'm gonna say from Flask import alright, it's import Flask with a capital F, right, like that. Now I love Visual Studio Code because it makes suggestions to us. It thinks that we want to do something, and then it helps us do that because it knows that we want to do something that it's suggesting to us, right? It took a lot of developers a lot of time to create Visual Studio Code so that development could be so fun, right? So yeah, I'm having fun here. I hope you're gonna download yours and you'll have a lot of fun too, right? So from Flask, I have imported Flask. Now the next thing I need to do is to say app equals Flask underscore name underscore, like that. Now that is the constructor file, right? Sorry, I just made a little typo here. Let me just do k, right? So yeah, Flask, like that, right? That's the constructor function that I've done there. So as I said, I'll not explain a lot, I'll just act a lot. Now I'll create a decorator, app dot route, like that. Now it's going to route us to this URL. That's a slash, it means the home, right? So in that URL, in that decorator, I want to bind that URL, which is the home URL or the index URL, to a certain function. So I have to create a function that has to be bound to the URL. So I'm going to say def and let me just call it index like that. So that's the function that is being bound to that URL, and what that function will do is that it will return just a string, something like that. Hello, Mr. Banda, like that. Now, as we can see, there is a decorator that's binding a URL to a function which renders something to the view or to the browser, which is simply hello Mr. Banda. Oh, my Banda. Alright, let me put Mr. like that, right? So one very important thing to run this file is to say if underscore name equals uh, underscore main underscore. If that's the condition, then oh my gosh, underscore name and underscore. Right, if that's the condition, then we should say app dot run, and then in the parameters we're gonna say debug equals to true. Right. What this does is that it tells the server that we're running this on a developer basis, right? Now, what it means is that whenever we want to make any changes, we don't have to restart the server, but the browser, the text editor is going to detect that because it's in debugging mode. It's going to make it smart, right? So it's going to know that, and then it's not going to require us to restart the server so that we can make any changes, right? So I've done everything, and I'm going to hit Control S to save. And what I'll do next is to click that little play button. Now what it does is that it starts the server for us. Now we can see serving Flask app like that, and it is in the environment of development. That's why it's providing a warning there that it says this is a development server, do not use it in production deployment, right? So this is the URL where our server is running. So I'm going to hit Control and click. Now what that does is that it takes us to the web browser, and we expect to see hello Mr. Banda when we open that page in the browser, right? So as we can see, it's open the Google Chrome, and let's just wait for it to load. Alright, it's loaded. Now this is the path, as we can see, 127.0.0.1 of 5000, and hello Mr. Banda. So yeah, that wasn't hard, was it? It was very simple. That's what Flask can do. I mean, Flask is a micro framework. I mean, Python has a lot of frameworks including Django, Fast API, but one thing I love about Flask is that it's one of the simplest syntax you have in web frameworks, right? So yeah, if you want to enjoy more on Flask, I mean, you have to stay there for the next video, but for now I think that's enough. And in the next video I want us to do something cool, right? Now as we can see, this bar here where we have our URL is called the URL field, right? So in the next video I want us to be updating content on the browser using the URL. Now it's called the variable rule, so I hope you be around. Yeah, please don't miss that. And as usual, don't forget to subscribe and to like and to hit that little bell if you want to get updated whenever I post something new. So thank you guys, I hope you be there next time. Bye.